I hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Mom, we've been trying to do it like for years.
Yeah, for years. And how long have you had this podcast?
2.5 years.
And why the hell is it taking so long to get me here?
I have no excuses.
It's okay, I'm here now, and that's all that matters. Thank you for having me.
My gosh, you all are in for a treat today. Welcome back to Baddies Mean Business. This is the podcast for women who are sharing a waterfall of wisdom from women themselves. So we're very excited to get started with this episode. This episode is long awaiting. You all are going to meet the woman who raised me. Miss Slay Lia J. Slay Lia J. Slay Lia J. Hey, Mom. How's it going?
Riley. Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So, everybody, we're going to interview my mom today, and she's going to talk a little bit about what it was like to raise me and also a bunch of things from her life as well. So, I think I'm going to learn a lot today. First things first. We're going to start it off with a couple segments, including a new segment we kicked off this year. If you haven't noticed, for those who are watching on YouTube, we have new merch. Mom is rocking the merch too. Mom, how does it feel? How's the new merch
Oh
feel?
my gosh, it feels amazing.
I know, isn't it soft?
Yeah, it's so soft and comfortable. I love it.
I know. Not selling you guys, but really this stuff is really comfortable. So there's a new store link now in Instagram bio, LinkedIn bio, YouTube bio. Feel free to go over there and grab some merch for yourselves, for the OG baddies. But other than that, let's go ahead and get right into the episode. So, Mom, let's start off with the Baddie Briefing. Okay? You know what the Baddie Briefing is. You're my number one supporter. You've been listening since the beginning. So I don't need to explain it. But for those who haven't watched before, the Baddie Briefing is when we share our favorites of the week. We usually share a quote of the week as well, but this week we're just going to stick to our favorites. And so we kind of thought about this beforehand on what we are loving this week. So do you want to start off?
Sure. I'll start off with my favorite product is right now Matrix Setter Mousse. It's a pink can. I love it. As you can tell.
Yes. She got the hair and I did not. I got the length. I didn't get the thickness though.
I know. I'm sorry, Riley.
Thanks,
but
Mom.
I love that it just calms the frizz, gives it a lot of shine. And my favorite part about this mousse is that it works well the second day too. Like I can spritz it down, scrunch it, and it still looks like I just washed it. So that for me, and I don't like to wash my hair every day. Every other day works fine for me, but it's my favorite.
She hit the jackpot when it came to the gene pool there. Yes. She also was a hairstylist before, so she was the best hairstylist in Yakima. 100%.
I think so.
Liage. Throwback to Liage.
Liage Salon. Hence why my nickname, Lia J.
My mom named her salon. She used to own a salon back in Yakima, and she named it Liage, which was Liaj, Lia J.
Yeah, it was so funny because it was meant to be pronounced as Liage Salon, which is my first name and my last name initial, but then people couldn't pronounce it and they just called it Lia J. And then I just kind of ran with it.
It kind of rings though. I do like it.
I know, it looks so good. All the nieces and nephews.
All my cousins were like, oh, it's Lia J's. Oh, party at Lia J's. Even if I'm the one initiating it, it's still a party at Lia J's. When I go home, I just like get the gang together and just use the house. But I tell you guys, you can go to sleep if you want.
Oh the days.
I know. That's a great product though. So throwback, what was the product name again?
Once again, it's Matrix and it's the Setter Mousse.
The Setter Mousse. Go buy it now. Thank you, Mom, for the discounts. For me, my baddie briefing is going to be Oku. For those who don't know what Oku is actually a company that we've been working with at my job at the Stella Foundation. And Oku is little gummies that have energy in it, like clean energy. Instead of drinking, the 200 milligrams Celsiuses, you have the option of using like gummies, like little gummy circles. I think I actually have it. I think I'm sitting on it, actually. For those who are watching, let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. It fell. For those who are watching, I have a little packet actually right next to me right now. It's orange. I definitely started eating out of it, but check out Oku. Shout out to Carolyn, the founder, but she's amazing. The product's amazing. I love how it just kind of like feels graduate. Oh yeah. Take a little bite.
I sure will.
Oh yeah. For those ASMR fans, there's the ASMR right there. Crinkle, crinkle, pop, pop. You like it?
Yeah, very.
I know. Oh, I know. I love all the flavors. But anyways, let's get into it. So this next part that we're going to go to is honestly my new favorite segment. We are going to be doing unpopular opinions. Boo, boo, boo. Unpopular opinions, because mother, I know you got an opinion on everything.
Not necessarily, Riley. Stop.
But this is your opportunity to shine. This is your opportunity to shine and show out. A little bit of background also why we're even able to do this, because we're still in San Diego. For those who know, I live in San Diego. My mom is still in Washington full time, but mom is actually moved here for a little bit because she's on a new adventure. Do you want to share a little bit about your new adventure?
Oh, reluctantly, but yes. So I am here. I actually used to live in Orange County, and then I moved to Washington when I got married. And so a dream of mine since I was a little girl, I would say about 7 or 8. Actually, remember the Alyssa Milano days of Who's the Boss and Mila Jovovich.
Is it bad that I don't know who either of those
The
people
motto.
are?
Anyways, whatever, Riley. You have to be in your 40s.
Oh.
So I remember just growing up with those two and thinking, oh my gosh, wouldn't it just be amazing to be part of that and just make people laugh and make, just feel good. And so I totally left that dream behind when I got married, which no regrets. I just love that timing for me was perfectly. So when I got married, I moved to Washington and then kind of just left that dream behind, and I totally forgot about it. And so I think when the kids were graduated and I had a little bit more time to think, it actually came up that, wow, acting was, a thing for me, and I wanted to pursue, not necessarily for the fame, but just to kind of see where it would lead me.
This is actually a conversation we had at the passport office, because I have a bad habit of occasionally losing my passport. And so we were in the Seattle passport office waiting for a passport for a flight that we had that day. And we were just killing time having conversation. And I told my mom, because I always knew she wanted to be an actor, actress, voiceover actress as well, because she put me in acting when I was a kid. But
I did, and it didn't stick.
I mean, we had a couple good wins there. I was just a really shy kid. I was shy, but but I appreciate that experience because it's a cool little icebreaker question that nobody can guess about me. But in that passport office, we're like, well, what if you did it? Because I graduated college, my brother graduated high school. Like, you have the time. Like, go on your new adventure. And so now we're in the midst of this new adventure.
Yes, I wasn't going to mention that, but yes, it was in June of 2022. Riley had just graduated from college, and we were on our way to her graduation trip to Europe. And the day that we were flying out from Vancouver, which was still another 2 to 3 hour drive from Seattle, we just sat and had a conversation. And yeah, Riley kind of just mentioned it or asked what is your dream, and I really had to think about it for a little bit, and not very long, actually. I mean, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I've always wanted to be an actor. And she said, why not? And I said, yeah, why not? So I started my research on the way to Europe and then got me a coach a month later. And I mean, the rest is history. And obviously, Hollywood is where you need to be. And I really wanted to immerse myself in the process of it all. And what better place to do it than here, where I have family support. So I have Riley here and my sister and my brother who's Anaheim. So I said, yeah, let's do it. I mean, everything's lined up. Why not? It was just, I'm all about signs. And so I saw that all as positive signs. So I said, okay. And then I have a very, very supportive husband. I mean, if it wasn't for Dad. Shout out to Dad.
Dad has his merch too.
You know, but if it wasn't for him and his support, I mean, none of this would be happening right now. So
it's truly inspiring. I know she's shy of talking about it. I'm glad she's talking about it though, because it really is.
It's not I'm shy. I just don't feel like, you know.
Yeah, I get it. But I have actually an unpopular opinion that applies to that story. And so I'll share that later. But that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. And so we've been little roommates for the week and just embarking on this new adventure. And so I'm really excited.
It's so fun. Thank you, Riley. You've been taking care of me so well, feeding me. I mean, if I had to do work on top of that, well, I have been doing a little bit of work on top of that, but I don't know that I would be eating.
I know. I've talked about Mom for years, and just like she has been that person to really like push and like think bigger, and so that's why I'm really excited to have her on here, because I feel like a lot of the things we talk about here I learned from you. So of course,
thank you.
But let's get into it. I can't wait to get into the spice. Okay, the unpopular opinions. So are we gonna do the quote? No, we're not.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
And we're just going to get right into it because I'm excited about these. So these unpopular opinions, what we do here is I go to Reddit. I choose some unpopular opinions from the Reddit page, the sub page, and I have screenshots of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the prompt and then the story that comes with it. And then we're just going to talk about it, whether we agree, we don't agree, why. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So the backstory on this first one, I really wanted to find unpopular opinions that were revolved around like different milestones in your life, like how to think about things, whatever. So this first section of the segment is about weddings. Okay. Think back to when you and Dad got married. Fun fact, I'm the same age now as when my parents got married. That's wild. So this first one, and I also, side note, I'm participating in my first wedding for in the wedding. Hold on one sec. Alexa, stop. Okay. All right. First, unpopular opinion. Bridesmaids shouldn't pay for their dresses. If you ask someone to be in your wedding as a bridesmaid or a maid of honor, is it tacky to make them pay for their own bridesmaid dress? While it is true that they could just decline and to be in your wedding, you as a bride are asking because you really want these particular people in your party. Your bridesmaids are doing you a favor. And even if they are happily participating in asking someone to be a part of their big day, so it can be what you want it to be, and then having the audacity to expect them to pay for their necessary attire, you want them ridiculous. Attire you want is ridiculous and rude.
Is that for me?
You want to start on what you think about this? Because you think you're the only one who's been married in this scenario. So I kind of want to think back. I'm like, what was your philosophy on making those type of decisions for your wedding? And how has that changed from now?
Well, when it was my wedding, I thoroughly believe in, anyways, if you know me, you know my personality, you know who I am. I love to take care of people. And I believe that if you're asking somebody to be part of your celebration, your wedding, or anything like that, that should be your responsibility to provide those things, those comforts. And but that's just me. Now, a lot of couples are getting married later in what?
Life.
Yeah. Couples are getting married later in life. So at that point, they're established in their career, financially. So I would hope that at that point, if they're asking for someone to be part of their wedding, that they could provide, what is necessary to accomplish all that. But, that can't always be the case, when there are couples who are getting married younger in life. And so in that case, I think that it's not necessary to have, 20,000 bridesmaids and grooms and 300 to 400 guests, especially when, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that you could be putting towards down payment on a house, or buying a reliable vehicle, because most of the time at that age, you're barely scraping by with whatever is available to you. But that's just me. I think it just depends on where you are in life. Be a little bit more considerate when you're younger, and maybe one or two. And then that way I could still be able to afford to pay for their bridesmaids dresses or whatever else. But anyways,
I think I agree. I think I agree. But I do believe it's all about like setting the expectation even like beforehand. It's like cause like for me, I'm like I've never participated in a wedding before. This like when I'm going through these initial steps, I have been asking mom a lot. I'm like, well, like what's normal, like what, because I know from just like background research that when you say yes to being a part of a wedding, there comes with like a financial burden to it, and it's something to be aware of. And so for me, I've been like taking in all this information and developing my own perspective of what I would do in my own wedding. And for me, if I feel like it's a give and take. So there are those set items that like bridesmaids are meant to like have, and groomsmen, which is like the dress, the bachelorette, the day of, whatever little miscellaneous things like that. So for me as a bride, I'm like, my goal would to be covering as many of those as possible, just given your financial situation. And if you don't have a lot to do so, you just set your expectations super early on when you're asking people to be a bridesmaid, is like, this is what's happening. This is what we're willing to pay for or not. And just like putting thought to it beforehand makes sense to me.
I think it's just being courteous, in the information as early in the process as possible, for me.
So one question I want to ask before we move on from this unpopular opinion. What is one thing that if you could go back, what would you do differently from your wedding? And then what is one thing that you did extremely right that you want to share for the future wedding planners?
I think if there's one thing I would have done differently is I would have probably kept it intimate, because intimate in my family would be at least 100 people.
You've always talked about how big my wedding is. Probably
just my family, just my family. It doesn't include cousins or aunts or anything like that. But I think if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely have kept it to family as far as the ceremony, because I feel like that's just so personal that you want to share it with people that are so you love and care for, that are close to you. And then probably did a reception and included the extended friends.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree.
So anyways, if I had to do it all over again, I definitely would have done that. Now, what I did right is I kept, my bridesmaid, or what do you call that?
Right. Your wedding party?
What I did right is I kept my wedding party to the bare minimum, to my sisters and a friend. And I just love the way we did it. It was just small, maybe 150 people, but it was memorable. I wasn't too stressed, and you didn't have a bunch of people that you really don't communicate with or see every day.
That's really why you save up for a wedding, because it's like, I can't
really
exclude. We already have so much family just on this side.
Exactly.
Imagine meeting somebody with a whole nother like big family. It's just going to be expensive regardless. You're just setting yourself up for that, but you accept it and it's okay. Because I would rather have everyone there and figure it out than, the other way around and nobody being able to participate in the memories. Yes. The memory
now
making.
For you, I want a destination wedding. That's for dang sure. So
we'll see.
Anyways,
we'll see about that. We'll see about that. I definitely got my like party planning and event planning stuff from my mom. Yes. She's the one who like orders 4 jumpers for our Easter every year.
5, but who's counting?
Did you add another one this
Hey,
year?
I'm all about comfort and entertaining and family and memories.
Next one. Okay, are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
You're never too old to do anything. This one directly applies. So I would definitely want your opinion on this one. Okay. You're never too old to do anything. I'm reading in. Now, I'm not saying if you're 55 with a bad back and high blood pressure, jump on a roller coaster or go grab a wingsuit and fly above the Amazon River. But if you feel like you can do those things at your age, don't let anyone stop you. I'm tired of society saying someone can't do something because of age. The rule is taking heat at Ja Rule. Is that an artist?
That's an artist.
Okay. Ja Rule is taking heat at 47 because he's working on an album, something he's been doing his entire career. Let that man cook. Cooking means like,
do his thing.
He did something. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Do his thing.
My mom's woke.
None of your
she knows.
business.
She knows. I don't need to explain that. If someone wanted to start a NASCAR career at 35 or join a professional sports league, then let them do that. You don't know how old someone feels. You don't know what someone has been through. Maybe they couldn't follow their dreams at a young age because adversity had them in the chokehold. But now that they finally got some stability in their life to do what they want, you want to tell them to stop following their dreams and be realistic about life? If you have the nerve to tell someone to quit dreaming, then that means that you've given up on your own dreams. To that I say, keep that shit away from me. Life is real as it gets, and I rather take a chance on dreams while I still can versus when I'm really old and can barely get up out of bed on my own, wishing I would have taken the chance at the age people said you were too old to do something.
Yeah, they can shut the up. Okay, I don't need that neck close to me at all, because that would have totally referred to me. Mm-hmm. You know, everything about that.
Yes.
So
I feel like I've talked about this numerous times on this podcast, because it's like, I don't ever want to buy into the thought that like life ends after you start having kids, or you like settle down, or you know, you have real liabilities to care about, like a mortgage and like bigger car payments. I hate the idea of like the baddie days thing, if I keep that in the pod, is when your life ends, when you stop doing that. I don't agree like with that at all.
Obviously I'm 47 and I think life is just beginning for me. You know, I have no regret as far as the timeline of everything. You know, I love that I had my kids early. I wish I would have had them earlier.
Good God.
I know. Anyways, but whatever. But no regrets. I'm glad I had got married, had a family at a very young age, and now, you know, I feel good about pursuing something for myself, because I feel like you know, a husband's happy, the kids are happy, they're well taken care of. I feel like I've exposed them to as many things as possible to help grow them as individuals. You know, I feel good about that. So knowing that for me has allowed me to pursue now my dream, something that I've always put myself on the back burner. You know, my thought was, let's take care of the kids, and then you'll have plenty of time for you. And that's why I wanted kids earlier, because then I could have had more time for me in my earlier 30s or 40s instead of late 40s. But anyways, so
40s is so young though. Like I my favorite question.
Riley, I'm running out of time. I am running out of time, girl. Anyways, so no regrets. Love the way the timeline of it all. And now I am pursuing me, you know, and if I did not get to a point where I was financially stable, you know, there's no way any of this could have taken place, or found myself a spouse that was just so supportive in every change that I have made in the last 25 years that we've been together. Oh my gosh. I don't know how he survived it, but I'm so grateful for you, babe.
I know.
So grateful
You
for
want
you.
to, real quickly, do you want to kind of like, you did have, well, finish your thought actually, and I'll ask the question.
No, tell me.
So I was going to say, my mom has been really good about, like, the thing I look back when I think about when I was a kid and the type of jobs that you had as a kid is that you always changed jobs when there was a change in our life. Like when we were going to school around the same time, because my brother is 4 years younger, like you had different drop-offs and you wanted more flexibility. Like you always just did these different roles and jobs just to fit our schedule. So can you share kind of like what those jobs were?
It was just so crazy, because Dad and I were just such a great team. And I don't know that we planned it. I think we just naturally wanted that for our family, and yeah, I mean, he was the stable one. He was with his job for 26 years. So, and then there was I, who always kind of changed careers as it fit our family and our family schedule. So when the kids got older or went field trips, I wanted a job that was a little bit flexible there. I had looked into going into hygiene when you guys were really young, and I'm thinking, and when I got into the profession, I was like, this is not as flexible as I thought it was going to be. So I'm like, no, this is not going to work because my kids are young. I need to go to their field trips and stuff like that. So in the middle of that, I decided, okay, I'll get into hair or, cosmetology. And that allowed me the flexibility to be able to drop you guys off, pick you up, and be there. I could just work around your schedule. My family was, I was going to accommodate my family's schedule first and foremost, always.
I do
my work.
And I do.
My work worked around our family schedule, not my family schedule works around work.
That's a bar. It's a bar.
Yeah, totally. Doesn't it make sense?
I know. Which is like, I think the mindsets are changing with that. Like, I feel like people with the rise of like virtual work, everybody's like, I won't stand for that. Like if I have the option of flexibility, I want it. And you started doing that way before.
Way before. And I never really thought about it then because I felt like it was just something that needed to happen. But now when I think back on it, it's like, oh my gosh, I kind of created something for me, and I hope that, it catches on, because I feel like, you create more quality of life and family, unit and structure. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. So like I said, work always worked around us, and I just did everything. I went into cosmetology. And then from cosmetology, Dad and I always had a dream to get into real estate, and he actually got into real estate, well, as a home inspector. He was already in construction and home inspecting a good 10 years before we actually got into real estate. And I had actually interviewed 3 times, since the beginning of our relationship 25 years ago. But it didn't, once again, it didn't fit into our family schedule, to be, real estate, you have to get up and, your schedule is not your own. It's whatever the client, at least for me, that's me. I don't think it necessarily has to be that to that extent, but for me, I take my job seriously. If my clients need something, I just need to be there. Drop everything and go. Yeah. So for our family, I wasn't willing to communicate. I wasn't willing to give that up. Yeah.
It's a grind in the first few years.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate.
Absolutely.
And I do remember you were always there. You always picked us up. And you were part of the cultural days in elementary school.
Wasn't it fun?
I know in elementary school we would have a diversity day, or what was it called?
Yeah, it was Diversity Day.
Diversity Day, and my mom was one of the so you choose different volunteers, so like parent volunteers will volunteer their time.
Shout out to Mrs. Sherman.
Mrs. Sherman.
And Mr. Filetto.
Mr. Filetto.
At John Campbell.
Oh my gosh.
Love them.
Wait, White Hollow.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, it was, oh no, I'm sorry. Shit. Shout out to Mrs. Sherman and Mr. Filetto, who was the principal at that time at White Hollow Elementary.
Hollow. It was the best. And so my mom would always have like a workshop. So Samoa, we'd represent Samoa. And we would have a workshop where you would teach us how to hula. Little like the kids.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I know.
I taught 3 different classes, 30 kids each, at least 90 kids. We would all gather in the theater, and I would teach them how to dance.
I have friends.
Oh my gosh.
I'd have friends all the way up to high school who would just always be like, oh, you remember when your mom used to teach us how to hula? And like, oh, I just saw those photos. And we would wear like the fake like ulas or whatever.
Fake lace.
Yeah, the fake
and
lace.
One year, Grandma actually, bless her heart, I don't even know why I even asked her to do that. I think when I mentioned it to her, she was like, you know, Grandma's all about, okay, let's do it. No, I'm happy to do it. You know, she sewed every single one of our costumes.
I remember that. Yeah. You just sparked that memory.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know how.
I can't believe she did that.
How long do you think that took her?
I don't know, but it was just amazing thinking back on it right now that she sewed that, and I, 90 kids, teaching them how to dance and sing and actually cracking coconuts.
Oh,
during my
yeah, that was another thing. My mom, like, was it grandpa or dad would make this like homemade coconut like scraper.
Yeah,
it was like you sit on it and it has like a little scrape on the end, because usually I think with coconuts you use like a half opened can, like metal can, to like scrape out the meat, but they had like this device made, and Mom taught us all how to shuck coconuts and break them and everything. And so I don't even know. I
actually demonstrated that. So crazy.
I don't even know how you found coconuts. And
I used a rock to crack it.
Just cultured today.
Boy, native today.
That was so funny. I'm gonna
good times, but that's the memories I wanted for the kids. So
we definitely got them.
And we definitely, I have no regrets, none whatsoever.
We'll have to find those photos. See if we can find the photos.
I know.
But overall, we had a really great childhood. Mom was always there because she was able to have a flexible job. And now what's beautiful about it is, since acting obviously didn't work out for me, it's always been destined for her. She has the personality for it to a T. Like it's been her destiny. So I'm just telling her, I'm like, just let me know.
Well, how can you not? I mean, every Samoan out there was raised in the church, so
yeah,
we all sang, we all danced, we all performed. It was just naturally who we are, and plays that we used to do for Christmas.
Also put me in
fond
choir.
Memories, and I always played the lead parts.
Oh yeah, and Mom even put me in choir for a little bit there.
Riley,
what? I enjoyed it.
I put you in everything.
I know. I was putting
you were
everything.
so compliant through it all. I am so grateful.
I'm just like, okay.
You were so.
I'm down.
Such a good little girl.
Just a down girl, always been. But
you were always you were one where I could just throw you anything and you didn't need a friend to be there with you, like most kids. Oh, I need a friend. Or if I was a parent who coddled you, I'd be like, oh, let me see if I can find you a friend, and
yeah, you did.
and throw you in the class. But I'm like, nope, my girl got it. She was confident and you were fearless, which is what I admired about you. And, actually,
I was still nervous then, but I just kind of sucked it up because I knew I was just like, you just do it, girl. You just do it.
I wasn't going to let you
because I was
get out of it.
Because Mom's going to tell you that you need to step outside your comfort zone. And I don't want to hear that lecture again.
Hey, Grandma and Grandpa did that for me.
I know. And I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, as I got older. So now I got to pass that on to you. So
I think it worked. And
how does it work for you now?
I know. I do appreciate those lessons.
Thank you.
No complaints there. No complaints there.
It was so fun. Oh my gosh. Gosh. Memory lane. This is so cool. Tell me more.
I know. It's kind of like therapy, right?
Yeah.
I know. It's kind of fun. You kind of start thinking deeper about these like old memories. You're kind of popping some memories out that I did not remember before. So I'm excited for you and your next steps in life.
Thank you. I'm excited for me. Oh my gosh. I can't even believe I'm pursuing this. It's just so surreal to me. Even being here and taking my first week of classes is just like, what the hell am I doing here? You know?
What about like acting has like surprised you so far?
What about it has surprised me?
Because you've always had it as a dream, but now you're actually like
how hard it is. How hard it freaking is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people, you know, we watch movies and we think, oh, we could do that. How hard is it? Oh my gosh, they should have totally did it a different way. But now that I'm in it, it's like it's hard. It takes a lot of there's a lot of homework involved, you know, and I take my homework seriously, and that's the surprising part, how much homework there is in acting. I mean, not only what the instructor tells you to do, but as you get into it, it's like, okay, how do we get to this point? And then now you're going back, and I'm like, okay, how do we get to that point?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you find yourself hours and hours of research, and it just, you know, and it makes sense.
I think ever since you started acting, so I'll like kind of occasionally read for her when she's doing what's it called, auditions. So she'll have an audition and she'll Zoom me and I'll have the script on hand.
Yeah.
We'll have the script and I'm looking at the script and I'm like partially wanting to add some character to the script, right? But you're not supposed to do that as a reader,
girl.
Just read the script.
Yeah, you are there to just read. Do not.
But I could, like, they
one up me.
I have a small dream that the casting director is gonna hear my voice in the background and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, we need her in this film.
No.
And so
you had your chance. Now you need to be the supporting role.
I know. I'm not gonna.
Gosh, if you need something done, you got to do it yourself.
Well, I was just like, don't you need some like character to bounce off of and play with? Like, but no, I have to read it pretty monotoned, which is like, I get it.
And I have to remind her every now and then, Riley.
She's like, too much.
Tone it down. Okay.
I'm just
There's
trying.
only one star in this room.
I'm just trying to give you substance to work off of.
Okay. Well, thank you, but no thanks.
But that doesn't work because I didn't develop my character. So
hey, you had every opportunity to. But...
I did. And I'm good. I'm good with being in the background and helping you out and future manager, future agent in the making.
Absolutely. There's no one else that I would ever consider.
Thanks.
Ever consider.
Period. I'm just waiting, guys.
And I'm not easy to work with.
That is such an You're great.
Keep it good.
You're great.
Keep it nice.
I love you. Moving on. Okay. A lot of these also I did not read ahead of time. I just read the titles, and so I thought it would add to the surprise factor. So this next one, I'm curious about this one because I relate to it. This one is by Young. I don't even know how to pronounce that, so I'm not going to do it. But it's still in the Unpopular Opinions subreddit. The title is, "It needs to be normalized to not know what you want to do with your life until at least 30, probably even older." Reading in. If you find what you love when you are 8, hats off to you. I'm going to guess most of us are just guessing, and from observation, we are not all too good at it. I generally believe we as a society need to review how we give people opportunities and find ways to be more forgiving. I say 30 because my guess is that is probably around the time when other things might become more important, such as making family-oriented decisions than career. Although they could be the same. But honestly, we don't really acknowledge the fact that even at 50-something your life can change, and you need to do something else that should be seen as okay. I think we as people need to be more focused on try and more forgiving to those that try. Also, I think school should do a better job at exposing kids to a large variety of career opportunities. Maybe I am in the minority, but what I was shown and what I can do were not the same. This had 346 upvotes. Upvotes means like people agree, people agree. But
347.
347 now? Okay.
Totally agree.
Share your thoughts.
Yeah, because if I had decided at 8 that I wanted to be a doctor and that's all I wanted to do, it wouldn't have opened me up to so many other possibilities, adventures.
I feel like you're more like business like minded, like you're more strategic and like project management, like putting pieces together is your thing for sure. But that makes sense.
I always believed in putting you guys in many different things, so that you can find the one thing that you feel you can, work with.
I kind of have an unpopular opinion rooting from that, because I agreed, like we were exposed to so much, and so I kind of had this mindset of like, it's okay to change your mind, it's okay to do something different, like this whole idea around turnover in your life. I think it's a gentle balance, because it's not like you're like trying to get a new job or do something different every single year. Like that's really tough to really get really good at something. But the idea of like, if you actively know yourself enough to know that this isn't for you, it's okay to move on and try something different, was instilled very young.
And that's a lot of what I had battled with, was, okay, should I be content, or is there more to my potential? So as I got older and I changed courses and that would accommodate, our family schedule, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But I need to remember that, no, this is for our family. My time will come. It was never about me. It was about the family. And so finally, if that was the case, that totally pertains to me. I would hate to feel like, and we should normalize it. I felt like every 3 to 4 years I was changing courses. My trajectory of where I needed to be.
Yeah. I feel like I act like being actively aware that your life is going to look so different, even like a year from now, 5 years from now, let alone 10 years from now. Like, you don't get too stubborn and like saying like, if I don't accomplish this, like a perfectionist, like I'm definitely not a perfectionist per se. But like things don't always go to plan, but sometimes the plan is bigger than what you're aware of. The
plan is definitely bigger.
Yeah.
And I've always, like I said, battled that, my inner thoughts as far as, okay, should I just be content? I have a whole life now. Most people would be like, yeah, this is who I am meant to be for the rest of my life. But then there's me who was like, okay, well, now that I've accomplished this, I've been successful through every stepping stone of my life, I feel, to my standards. It was like, okay, now what? I just can't seem to just be content.
I think it's a gentle balance with that too. On what that could be. But I don't know. I do appreciate the people who always think bigger, because it always challenges me to like think bigger. It's kind of nice to have that. I think sometimes people can get caught up in the anxiety of maybe not living up to the potential that you see other people fulfilling themselves up to, if that makes sense. But I also agree with like, striving for more should always be the goal, but knowing what more looks like to you is really important, because like my version of more is different than your version of more, which is different from everybody's version of more. So it's like, but everybody creating a plan towards more, which is actually my word of the year, is something
more.
Yeah, more. I said that in like the first episode of the year was more, because I think it's interesting. Everybody does have a different version of that. So trying to be understanding there when it comes to it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it should be normalized, definitely, because I feel like I'm constantly revolving. And who knows, when I've accomplished this, hopefully, well, actually, I think this is going to be my last life.
You think this
I honestly think this is going to be my last,
because you seem to love
adventure.
I love seeing how much you like light up when you come back from your classes and you're talking to your agent and just going through all those things that I always thought of in the movies, because I love movies. And it's also nice to be able to sit together and movies being like homework.
Yeah.
Because I feel like ever since you started doing this, I also look at the rhetoric of movies way more.
Now I'm watching movies not to understand the plot. I'm just how do you say, I'm studying. I'm studying their movements. I'm just, everything else that shouldn't be when you're watching a movie, I'm doing the opposite. Their movements and how, their tone and how they're saying certain words and at what time. And, it's pretty interesting.
I definitely noticed when I used to be a video assistant for the football team at SDSU. I just remembered after I stopped that, I always, when I was watching football games, NFL games, whatever, I always noticed like which cameras were being switched to what the framing, what they might be hearing in their like headphones. Like I just paid a lot of attention to it, the way that things were filmed rather than what's happening in the film. So I can definitely relate and see how for you, it's like you're seeing other professionals in the same industry on the screen. And it's a career.
I just love it. I just so love it. I mean, it's been what, a year?
Yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year and a half since I explored this. And, I always said, okay, once we slow down with work, I want to head to LA and pursue acting. And it was just never the case, We're very blessed with the business that we have, and I'm just so grateful that Dad's home, holding things down as far as business and life goes, and so that I can pursue this. But it was just one of those things where, it's never going to get better. We just need to jump in with both feet, and I left a whole life there. In Washington to pursue acting in California. Who says that? That just sounds so weird. That's things that you only hear about in the movies. But, like I said, I'm not looking for fame. I'm not pursuing it for fame. I just feel like, okay, this is something that's always interested me. And I don't have hobbies. I don't have time.
I've been trying to get her to get hobbies for forever.
And for some, they may think that this is a hobby for me, but this is not a hobby. I left a whole life behind temporarily. I just picked up myself and transplanted me back to California, and this just needs to be a thing.
It's a thing. I think it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. So excited.
Good job, Mom. But anyways, that's kind of closing out our episode. So I have a couple closing questions for you before we go. First things first. If you were to rename me, what would you rename me now? 2, the second one is, what is your big audacious goal for this next chapter of your life?
Well, where'd that come from? So weird. Okay, so actually I know how to answer that because I am 47 years old. I was born in Samoa. I was the youngest of 7. So we left Samoa. My parents, wanted more opportunities for us, which Samoa could not provide. And they moved us to the States. So I recently went back with my mom, my sister, my niece, and Riley in October. And it just opened my eyes to so many things, you know, as far as what grandma and grandpa left behind.
Because you left really young. You're only 6 months.
Yeah. So my name is Lia Lia J Atu. And, you know, I always wondered why my mom would say, you know, she would introduce me to family members and say, okay, this is Fitalenga Atu. And they would just light up. And I'd be like, why do they do that? What?
It's literally like that too, where somebody, because I unfortunately don't speak Samoan, and so I'm listening in kind of and more responding to their facial expressions, and I see people being like, oh yes, yes, like nodding their head. Yeah, it's literal.
Yeah. So Fitalenga Atu in Samoan, well, in English, means, you say it.
It's like the speaker of the village, or the voice of the village,
voice of the people. You know, Fitalenga Atu means the voice of the people. And growing up, I was always very boisterous. Thank you very much.
That's why we did Unpopular Opinions today.
I had a better understanding of who I was. You know, I've always struggled with why can't I just keep my mouth shut? You know, why do I have to have an opinion? Why do I have to, you know, but it was always about, it was what was fair and what was right. That's what my voice would, you know,
just being passionate about like voicing your opinion, because like everybody talks about like if you're a flight or fight type of person. Because of my mother, I am a fighter, and so but
you're welcome.
Thanks for that.
Anyway, so I have had a better understanding of my name, you know, since going back to Samoa. So it was so significant. It was just my great grandpa's chief name in Siumu, you know, in Samoa. So I took it for granted before, but I really appreciate it now. So if I had to rename you, because it's my name, I would definitely rename you to Riley Fitalenga to Jennings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, so
I love that story though, like going back into like really discovering what your name means and learning it from like the chief of our village or my grandma's village that she grew up in. Was just like really special moment. Really
special. It was pretty special. And I'm so glad we got to experience that together. You know, it's so crazy that my first time was at 47 was your first time at 23. It's like, how fair is that? Not really, but but that's okay.
I'm so glad we went.
So glad we went. It was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. And I wish that opportunity for everybody. If you have, you know, heritage or a background that you don't fully understand but want to, I encourage you to take that trip.
Do it.
Take that trip with your grandma, your grandpa, your mom or dad while they're still around, because I guarantee you, with all the travels that we've ever done in this world, I mean, that was very profound.
Yeah, totally agree. Next question was, what is your big audacious goal for this next chapter of your life?
My big audacious goal. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about.
I want to talk about it.
You don't have to share actually if you don't want to, but
I mean, my goal is to still be in acting, still love it, have the opportunities, and just grow, you know, with it. Like I said, I sacrificed a lot to be here. So I hope that at the end of the year, I'm still pursuing it.
The Rock isn't the only Samoan person we need to see on those red carpets. And Drew Afuelo. Did you say that right? Afualo?
I don't know.
Yes. The rise of the Polynesians. Let's go.
I know. Yay! That would be exciting. That would be pretty cool.
Pretty
cool.
I know. All right, Mom. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. If you would like to follow her on, I don't know what social media you have personally, actually. Your Instagram, Slay Lia J. follow my mom, follow her journey. She's amazing. Hopefully you guys have a better understanding of who I am too, also by meeting my mother. But anyways, follow Baddies Mean Business on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. We are everywhere, consistently posting, and every new episode comes out on Sundays. So tune in, subscribe, like, comment, etc. But thank you so much for listening up to this point, and we'll talk to you all next week.